Okay, welcome back to another trade recap. This is how I made around 13.8k trading both gold and UJ, second over Asia again. This was just a sell on gold 30 minutes into the hour, and we had a couple buys on UJ around 30 minutes into the hour as well. We're up, pretty nice. The win streak continues. I just get up custom period for today. Yeah, up around 13.8k. So we'll go through exactly how I took these trades. Okay, so starting off on UJ, as it was the first trade I took. If we just go on to the second hour of Asia session, what were we looking at? So around here, this is the open of the hour. So overall, over the past couple of days, we've been relatively range bound, but obviously with a more bearish bias. But coming into Asia session for the day, we're broken below some lows, we're pushing bearish as well. So more often than not, you probably wouldn't be looking for a buy, but I tend to trade counter to the trend or counter to whatever the direction is. Wherever we're extended against or extended, in the direction of, I try to trade against that, trading small reactions and price action. I don't really care about direction. I just care about where we are, how extended we are, and so on. So we've had the open of the hour. This is what I like to see. My textbook setup. The exact same thing I was looking for yesterday, the trade I took yesterday. We open, and the hour immediately pushes in the same direction of the previous hour. Immediately pushes, overextends for the first 30 minutes without much of a correction at all. And so if you understand order flow, when you have an extension, you want some type of correction to then be able to continue that. The longer you push in a certain direction, the more likely you are to have a pullback, a snapback. You need to collect liquidity, orders to then drive, continue on. Otherwise, you run out of steam. Prices like an elastic band, so many times. But this 30-minute candle has massively overextended, pushed bearish. And I was actually looking at 15-minute candle behavior as well. I was combining 15-minute candle behavior with the hourly candle behavior, something I've been doing recently, and it's been really nice. And I took the sell, if we drop down onto the 5 seconds chart, on this little kind of shift of structure. So we were going to break, making lower highs and lower lows. And then if I get rid of this, we've made a lower high here, and then we went into breaking. So a lower low, we broke this low, and then we went to breaking a high. It's not the cleanest shift, but I still think this is a shift. If you look at like 1 minute, a little structure here, break a low into breaking a high. And it's a bit of like a high-low sort of entry as well. But yeah, so trading 15-minute candle behavior, 15-minute candles overextended, likely to be some sort of correction pullback as well. And the best of reversals, ideally, I normally want to look for reversals around 30 to 45 minutes into the hour. But my general range is 22 to 52 minutes. So I can either trade 22 minutes in at the earliest or 52 minutes in at the latest. And this is 22 minutes in right here. Stop was below previous low, and we were just targeting this little structure around here, simply because just targeting 50% of this previous low time frame move, a bit of a correction, a bit of a pullback. I'm not trying to guess direction or guess at all, shift bullish, just trading a little retracement. And also we had some added correlation. We had DXY coming into a previous 4-hour hourly area. So if DXY had this massive push bearish and overextension, if we're going to react and start pulling back a little bit, where would we want to be, where would we likely pull back from? Around this 4-hour hourly AY. When would we like to pull back? Normally around the halfway point of the hour, around maybe if you've had the 15-minute candle immediately push bearish around the halfway point of that. So I use candle behavior, market structure, areas of interest the exact same way on my correlation pairs, then exact same way that I do on the main pair. For UJ, we want the yen pair to be pushing bearish if we're looking for buys on UJ. We've had this big overextension into the highs, some previous highs here. If you look at the hourly candle behavior, hourly candle opened, immediately push bullish, we're approaching the halfway point. Same sort of for the 50-minute, but it's more flipped bearish here. And we've come into like a general sort of area of interest around these highs around here. If I get rid of that, and it looks like now we're starting to shift bearish. So get this up. we've had a clear break of a high into then a break of a low. So low time frame structure has shifted bearish. And so looking for buys on UJ, that's extra confirmation. So yeah, not the nicest sort of condition that I'd usually be trading, but I think I'm a bit overconfident at the moment. I was like, fuck it, let's give it a shot. Whatever happens, I'll learn, or I'll win, or I'll lose. But if I lose, I'll learn. So that was it was a bit of an experiment today. But with the correlation, with everything, with the timing, the candle behavior timing, especially, thought like it was going to be a good trade with a little pullback. But it took a little while to set up here. But we did have some bullish movement. And then around the new 30-minute, we had a push bearish. And that's actually kind of a good thing. You want the 30-minute candle to push bearish to then flip push bullish. And then we had, it flipped push bullish, tapped into the 50% of this previous lower time frame move here. And then it continued, continued on pushing bearish, and that's fine. So just trading little reaction and price action. And that was the UJ trade here as well. So small little reactions. Especially using that hourly and 15-minute candle behavior. So 22 minutes in, really nice. I guess I could have took the trade around 37 minutes in, using that next 15-minute candle behavior as well. But yeah, you kind of have the same thing set up in the next hour. You have the alley candle open, immediately push bearish. You just have a bit of a pullback a bit early on in the hour, but still, same sort of stuff happens as well. But let's go on to the gold sell. I took the gold sell around the same sort of time. Get up the hourly candle. Okay, so here, this is a bit nicer. We had the hourly candle. Obviously, gold is kind of meme coin status. Keep on breaking all-time highs. Very bullish, very directional. Why are you selling at all-time highs? It's simply because I'm a bit arrogant at the moment, overly confident on a winning streak. And I kind of want to take a loss just to test things out. Like, losing is a good thing. Like, the less I lose, the less I learn. So I kind of want to lose some trades. So this is just, me testing some stuff out. But yeah, it's a little bit more range bound as well. We have more of a range corrected, like more of a range bound behavior here compared to, last week where it is extremely bullish, extremely trendy. A little bit of a bullish trending range, but you can trade these conditions. It's just you have to get really good at trading reversals to be able to trade this well, or you have to be really precise with the types of reversals you look for. Okay, and so the best time to be looking for sells when gold's at all-time highs is when you're above highs. When you've just broken a previous high, this is the best time to be looking for a sell. Because if we're in a bullish trending range, the most likely time that we're going to be pushing bearish is after we've taken out a previous high. And I use this exact same concept to be looking for sells after we take out previous highs in a bullish trending range. I did that yesterday when UJ was in that bullish trending range here. So when UJ is in this bullish trending range, we get rid of this. It was a bit earlier. It was here. Sorry. But it was the same similar trending range. But the best time to be taking sells is when you take out the previous highs. So previous high taken out, previous high taken out. Really nice sell reversals around that time. Even here, really nice sell reversals around that time. In this trending range, when do you have the nice sells? When you take out the previous highs. Again, previous highs, previous highs. So yeah, exact same thing. Looked for that on gold. We've taken out this previous lower time frame high here, and we've taken out this previous all-time high time frame high. But also, that's nice within market structure, but we've also kind of like overextended, push massively bullish here. We haven't actually corrected 50% of the previous move. So we're kind of expecting a bit of a pullback. The alley candles opened, immediately pushed bullish here for the first 30 minutes. Had a bit of a reaction around 15 minutes in, but still very overextended. Yeah. And I actually took a sell a little bit early on, I think around 27 minutes in here. And it was targeting 50% of this previous move here. It was a pretty low time frame scalp. So we took out this low into taking out that high. What does that look like? It is a type 3 shift bullish here. And whenever, this is a normal sort of entry model for me. When I'm looking for a buy on a type 3 shift, I'm looking for it to pull back in towards 50%, which it normally does, to then take the continuation. So when you actually have a really big high volume shift here, this actually gives you an opportunity to look for an inversion of that shift and take sells in towards the 50%, which might then, shift again and push bullish. And so this is kind of a more recent sort of model, but I will target sells. This is more lower time frame. I'll target sells when we have this massive high volume push in towards correcting 50% of this previous move here. Yeah, so this was a bit of I think it was a second shift. We took out a high here, and then I think we went into taking out a low. That was around this sort of time. I think stop was over a previous high. But yeah, we're targeting 50% of that previous move as well. So high volume counter sequence into a bit of you take out a high into taking out a low, a 5-second shift, and then targeting 50% of this previous move. Yeah. So a really small low time frame reaction. I don't know if it's going to correct more. I'm not trying to trade. I mean, it did kind of end up coming back into 50%, but yeah, just trading small reactions and price action, and kind of connecting. It was more that it wasn't really, you didn't really have that 50-minute candle behavior. This was more actually, sorry, this was more with 5-minute candle behavior. So if I get up this hourly, where did my hourly candle go? Amazing, disappeared. Hold up, wait it back. Okay, so I have the hourly candle back, and then we'll get up this 5-minute as well. So we are approaching 30 minutes into the hour. For more precise timing, I can go down onto lower time frame candle behavior. Like I was doing the 15-minute on UJ, but because this is a bit high volume, the high volume is the lower time frame I tend to drop down onto. Okay, so we've had the open of this 5-minute candle here immediately push bullish, and we're approaching 2.5 minutes into this 5-minute interval. And so this is actually a good time to be looking for, this to can flip bearish to correct the previous move. Like we're overextended. We're using that exact same candle behavior that we're using on the hourly, just on the 5-minute, around 27 minutes into the hour. Kind of another example, you have the open push bullish for the first half, around the halfway point of that 5-minute interval, you have it shift bearish again. So again, you have the pullback around the halfway point of this 5-minute candle here. A bit of a pullback, not as much of a pullback because it's in the first half of the hour, but still, I have been looking to align whatever low time frame candle behavior I can align with high time frame hourly candle behavior. I'll do is just extra sort of timing on an entry, and so took the entry at the break of the candle low, targeting a little 50% of that previous move. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty easy. Same sort of trades that I usually take, just small reactions and price actions, more reversals, highest probability moves. I don't care about direction. I'm not trying to be right about direction. I'm just trying to trade small little reaction pullbacks and price action. Because if you want to, in order to push bullish, you kind of first have to push bearish. You need to collect orders to then drive in a certain direction. Collect sweep liquidity or liquidate everywhere. I don't really care why it happens. I just care that it happens. It just happens. Price is a push and a pull. It's like a pendulum. You swing from bullish to bearish. You can only be in a certain direction for a certain amount of time until you have to swing back. And so that's just how I trade. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this trade recap. The win streak continues. We'll see how long it continues. But yeah, catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.